In late November of 1934, the Palazon family, who live in Zaragoza, Spain, experienced an unusual and eerie noise in their apartment. The mysterious events began when a peculiar voice, at times pleasant and at other times downright scary, started talking to the family from within the walls of their home. Pasquala Alcocer. The family maid had the initial encounter with the voice when she reached for the stove, where it pleaded, "You are hurting me." Startled, Pasquala switched off the lights, fled the room, and the voice urgently exclaimed, "Light! I can't see!" The source of the voice became a subject of debate within the Palazon household. Pasquala insisted it came from the walls, while others believed it originated from the old wood stove. The voice, with its boisterous laughter, and sometimes it sounded maniacal. The laughter echoed throughout the building, gaining attention from all residents. As the voice persisted until the early hours of the morning, the residents called the police. The voice called them cowards for calling the cops. Once the police entered the house, they were greeted with personalized taunt. The voice demonstrated an uncanny knowledge of the officers, addressing them by name as they entered the building. It was as if this voice knew everything. It gave details about the apartment's layout, the number of people living in the house, their names, and this further mystified the situation. There was an incident where a mason came to take measurements of the apartment, and the voice called out the measurements before the guy could even look at his tape. During the police investigation, the Palazon family was temporarily relocated, turning the occurrences into a widely publicized affair known as the Zaragoza Duende, or Goblin. Thousands flocked to the apartment, hoping to witness or confront the supernatural entity, while others viewed it as something evil, prompting priests to bless the house and the family. On November 25th, the voice abruptly fell silent. The police left, and the Palazon family came back home. Despite the hours passing without a word, the tranquility was short-lived. 48 hours later, the voice angrily declared its presence again, berating the perceived cowardice of onlookers, saying, "Cowards, cowards, cowards." It then returned to its usual pleasant demeanor, giving them permission to smoke. Eventually, on November 29th, the tormented Palazon family decided to permanently vacate the apartment. The governor of Zaragoza imposed a media blackout to facilitate a police search for evidence of a hoax. Despite various specialists examining the premises, no explanation for the voice's origin was found. In a drastic move, the entire block was isolated, and power to the apartment complex was cut. In response, the voice expressed outrage and, according to some accounts, issued threats against the residents. Some sources say he threatened to kill the residents. The investigation took a turn when psychiatrist Joaquin Oriera accused the family maid, Pasquala, of unconscious ventriloquism. To test this theory, Pasquala was sent away on an errand, yet the voice persisted in her absence. The governor declared the case solved, attributing the phenomenon to Pasquala. On December 4th, the situation reached a resolution when Arturo Grijalba, the building owner's 6-year-old son, was sent into the building to see if this voice was still there. Frustrated, Arturo shouted that the situation was crazy, prompting the voice to respond, "Not crazy, little one," in a guttural tone. This marked the last communication from the Zaragoza Goblin. The voice never resurfaced, and in 1977 the original building was replaced with a new apartment complex named Duende, or Goblin, to commemorate the phenomenon. Pasquala faced accusations of fraud, choosing to retreat to her hometown and remain silent on the incident. The mystery of the Zaragoza Goblin remains unsolved. There were speculations of hoax, and some say that the voices were broadcast through a speaker in the wall. That being said, how come the voice continued when the power was cut? Also, if someone was sitting or living inside the wall, they would have had to have enough food and water for 2 weeks or so. The case of the Zaragoza Goblin highlights that encounters with unknown intelligences are not limited to physical beings such as angels or aliens. Similar to ghosts and poltergeists, conscious action can occur even without a visible body. However, unlike ghosts, the Zaragoza Goblin did not demonstrate the ability to manipulate the physical environment like moving objects. Instead, the voice in the Palazon family apartment solely used words to interact with the residents. This distinction suggests that this incident should be categorized differently. Yet, as is often the case in anomalistics, it is challenging to differentiate between different phenomena. In a similar manner, the voice resembled Gef the mongoose, who communicated with the inhabitants of a remote homestead on the Isle of Man, seemingly from within the walls of the house. However, Gef never revealed himself and the voice suddenly ceased without returning. Conversely, hauntings are known to commence and conclude abruptly, often concentrated within weeks or months of increased activity. Many reported ghosts also exhibit a tendency to focus their attention on specific individuals, just like the Zaragoza Goblin did with Pasquala. The apparent lack of physicality in the Zaragoza voice prompts us to question why certain paranormal entities manifest in visible form and what relationship exists between their spectral presence and their vocalization. Extensive research is warranted, but the Zaragoza Goblin case provides valuable evidence for understanding the connection between consciousness and the physical world. It would be interesting to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Catch you on the next one.